Good morning from Point No Point. I'm here fly fishing for pink salmon. Now when I make these videos it's from places where you might have wanted to come fishing and want to know what it's like. So that's the main point, and also to give you a few tips and pointers. So pink salmon have a strict 2-year life cycle, and in Puget Sound they run in the odd numbered years, like this year, and they can number in their millions when they come in. And by all accounts this is going to be a good year. Fish are being caught. We're almost at what you predict would be the peak time for the run, and the size of the fish is pretty good. I did come out a couple of days ago and caught some fish, but it was very early when I caught them, and the footage I took was just too dark to use. So I'm out a couple of hours later today in the hope that I can actually show you some film of fish being caught. Now, a word about access to Point No Point. It's 2023 as I'm making this video, and in late December there was basically the perfect storm, and a combination of extreme high tides, very low pressure and torrential rain all conspired to cause the berm that protects the area behind the beach to break down, and it was inundated with seawater, and there was a lot of property damage. So they're going to be fixing the beach at some time. They haven't started yet, but they've closed it down. They've closed the whole park down to vehicular traffic, which means, like what I'm doing, you have to walk in. It's probably a quarter of a mile to the beach from where the nearest parking lot is. Just a word of caution, if you want to bring a bait cooler or fish cooler down to the beach, you're going to have to take that walk into account. Morning. Now I'm just going to turn around and show you all the sandbagging that's taken place to temporarily protect this area. It's quite a nice morning. So I'm getting up to the lighthouse now. I'm going to turn this off and I'll join you again once I'm set up. So Point No Point is a fairly large beach, and I'm just going to take a moment to explain where I'm fishing. I'm presenting this image in the usual way with north at the top. Here's the lighthouse for orientation. I'm fishing in this area to the east of the lighthouse, and this is where most fly fishermen are going to congregate. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. First, the beach is broad here, so there's less chance of hooking a dog walker on your back cast. Second, this area has some shallowish flat areas of sand that extend quite a way out, making for some good wading. And thirdly, and most important, this is where the salmon tend to approach closest to the shoreline, particularly as you move up northwards. This second area I'll highlight right at the point is known for producing currents which concentrate bait fish and other food. So fly fishing here can be excellent, but it attracts the largest number of anglers, so you're going to find yourself almost shoulder to shoulder at times. And this kind of proximity to other people obviously poses a hazard when you're casting a fly line, particularly if there's any kind of a crosswind. You're also quite likely to get stink eye from a few locals who have their own special personal spot on the beach. And if you're fishing in this zone and need the bathroom, or want to check your text message, or eat a sandwich, you will lose that spot. Okay, so now back to the fishing. Tip. I don't usually give tips, but I will on this occasion. So as I'm preparing for my first cast, I need to get 60 or 70 feet into my basket ready to shoot. Now if I pull a line straight off my reel and put it in the basket, It means that the shooting head's going in first and the running line is going to come in last, which is all back to front. So what I like to do is I will just throw the line I'm going to use out onto a clean patch of sand. It's probably enough. And then I'll put it into the basket from the sand, so that the line that comes off my reel last is going into the basket first. And that way the coils of running line are going to be beneath the business end, which I want to shoot out there first. Just a simple concept, but it took me weeks to figure that out, I tell you. So we're about an hour off low tide, so I'm going to be fishing the slack water and then some of the incoming tide. And you can catch pinks, really, despite what people say, any time of the day, any stage of the tide. So looking into the sun like this in the low light, I cannot really see my line, so I'm fishing more by muscle memory than anything else at the moment. Looks like someone's playing a fish down there. There's a fish on. Just a little one. Very small. Yep. Actually a flounder. Okay, something else on. It's going to be a sculpin. Oh, another flounder. Extraordinary. I might have to quicken up my retrieve if I'm catching flounders. Yeah, I'm on. Oh! Oh yeah, fish on. It's the head shaking going on. Can't really do much with him. Whoa. Gotcha. I took a big humpy. Yeah, he's a big one. Yeah, so I know he's a humpy from the spots on his tail. Black gums, lack of teeth. And I'm not keeping anything today. I'm going to return this one. Easy, big fella. That is a big humpy. Go make babies. There it goes. So I had started the morning fishing with one of my tube Clousers, but it was kind of heavy, so I changed to this standard one, tied on a size 6. So that's what did the damage there. So I've been fishing with an 8-weight rod the last few days, and I changed over to a 7 today. I'm kind of wishing I'd stuck with the 8 because that was all I could do to land that fish on the 7-weight. Now, if I'd wanted to take that fish home with me, I would have had to have gutted and bled it straight away in the salt water, put it right on ice. Otherwise, the flesh boils very quickly and goes soft. I did keep a fish 2 days ago, and I smoked it, and it was delicious. They're not really very tasty fish if you barbecue them, but the low fat content and the mild flavour makes for really good smoking. So out in front of me right now there's a big blob of weed, so I will use the opportunity to tell you about the gear I'm using. I've got an Echo Ion XL 9-foot 7-weight rod, and I've got a Temple Fork seal drag reel, and that is loaded with Rio outbound short full intermediate line. Then I have a loop-to-loop connection to 6 feet of 25-pound fluorocarbon, and I'm using Seagar fluorocarbon. And then that goes to a triple surgeon's knot, and then 3 feet of 15-pound fluoro, and that's tied with a non-slip loop knot to my minnow. So that's what I'm using. I belong to a Facebook group which is dedicated to fishing in the Northwest, and it's mostly just macho posturing and belittling beginners. But not everybody, but a lot of people on that site really disparage pink salmon. You know, you'd think that they were talking about dogfish. Never understood that point of view, because they are very abundant. They happily chase your fly or bait or buzz bomb, and when you hook them, they fight really well. I just don't see what there isn't to like about that. Anyway, that's my opinion. Long live the pink salmon, I say. After a couple of hours, some anglers started to leave. I guess some folks still need to work. And this meant that some space started to become available right at the point, the hot area which I pointed out at the start of the film. So I decided to move and try a few casts there myself. This is another thing. And again, I'm going to let him go. Oh, off he goes. Hi guys. So that was interesting. Landing that fish, I had Fish and Wildlife right behind me coming to inspect my license, so I couldn't talk much, but that was another pinky. Yeah, so that one fell to another tube clouser, but this one is pink and purple, so a little bit different. It worked like on the second cast. This young gentleman has a fish on. Let's just watch him for a moment. It's important when another angler is playing a fish that you get your line out of the water so that you don't risk getting tangled up with him.
Very, very high success.
moved around to the north side of the beach now. That's the lighthouse keeper's cottage over there. I'm not going to fish much longer, maybe another half an hour, have a few casts, see what it's like around here. We were talking about the culinary qualities of pink salmon, and when I was a boy growing up in England, ordinary people did not eat fresh salmon. It was an undreamt of luxury. But what you could get was pink salmon in cans that was imported from Canada by the John West Company, and they're still in existence, and I remember that stuff. In fact, my grandmother on my dad's side used to run a guest house in Blackpool, which is a famous Northern England seaside town. She ran this guest house with my Auntie Carrie, and because it was posh, she would have salmon sandwiches on the tea time menu. And I remember being a very small boy in the downstairs kitchen below stairs, watching my grandmother take the can of pink salmon, and she'd take some crackers, like Jacob's cream crackers, and crumble them up, and then she would soak the crackers in the juice, the fish juice out of the tin, and it would make a kind of vaguely salmon-like substance, and she would mix that back up with the fish so it would go twice as long, twice as far, and she would say, "Oh, no one will know." And there we are, 60 years ago, and now here I am fishing for those posh pink salmon. How time flies. These are the kind of thoughts I have when I'm fishing. My mind does tend to ramble. I apologize for the digression. Yeah, I felt that one tug. I can feel the sun doing a number on the back of my neck, and I didn't bring any sunscreen, stupidly, so I'm going to have to, sadly I'm going to have to go, but I hope you enjoyed sharing this really good morning at Point No Point with me. And if you haven't been here before, and you don't mind crowds, I would recommend you give it a shot. In August, middle of August, you're almost guaranteed to get a pink salmon or two, if not a coho. So it's goodbye from me at Point No Point.